Hey guys, happy Thursday. How you feeling? How you doing? I'm sitting here literally peeling wax off my fingers because I knocked over the can. Oh, you guys, I'm so clumsy. Look, this is how the altar, this is how the sacred space gets her love, right? You know, in wax drips and incense, oil stains. Oh my, you guys, how are you doing on Pisces season? We are a day after the 222 portal. Wonderful divine union energy, you know, divine masculine, feminine within the self, within the soul. Energetically, you know, what an energy it is. You know what? I came in with the intention of, I was doing a video the other day and this energy of talking about Saturn being an Aquarius, Saturn until like March the 7th. And how Saturn will not be back in Aquarius, you guys, for like, what is it, another 29 years, almost 30 years. You know, Saturn takes 30 years to do its movements. And I sat down with this intention. I had told a friend, you know, she was like, oh my gosh, please talk about Saturn. And I was just thinking about how I've been doing this this one-on-one natal chart work, and a big part of my groups of the year ahead, where we did placements in your natal chart and tarot with that, is that we would pull Saturn and Aquarius placements. If you're still interested in that, by the way, just shoot me an email and we can chat about it, or, you know, go to my website. Although I will say, you guys, I'm going to be putting some work in on the website. The shop. You know what? I'm not going to rant about the shop. It's not the time for it. But I'm going to do some changes there. I'm having trouble with listings showing up the way that I want them to. So I'm going to have to do some restructuring there. But in the meantime, I love to connect with and know whose energy I am coming into agreement with. That is an energetic contract. Do you know what I'm saying? And I like to make those connections and have a conversation or exchange with each other before, you know, the energy of money being processed through a shop and through a transaction. Making that energetic agreement before the conversation points happen, if that makes sense to you. So you're welcome to email me. You know, it's very interesting to know what Saturn is doing in your natal chart. That is your energetic signature at the time you were born. It helps you know yourself and understand how to work with and receive messages and healing points and evolutionary things in yourself, right? To understand what is Saturn doing in my own energy signature? What does Aquarius look like in my own energy signature? And I was just thinking about how I had been talking to different people as I was doing these readings about the Saturn and Aquarius energy. And so, you know, I was encouraging these people in readings, you know, what we went through prior to 2021 is, I don't have this chart, and don't quote me on all the exact specifics, but basically, we went through this grand conjunction at the end of 2020, I think it was. And yes, we have those, I know. But it was a specific placement of a certain star, and there was this alignment, and we kind of went through this birthing portal, right? We came into 2021, and you guys, you know what was going on in 2020. It was still trailing and sort of going on. It really depends on where you live. In 2021, obviously. But for about, I would say, 2.5 years, Saturn and Aquarius have been kind of dancing around with each other in certain ways. And it's funny, I was explaining this in other readings to people. You know, I had a conversation with a friend, and Saturn is we got into talking about the Little Mermaid and like Ariel, being Aquarius and Saturn being, you know, the Neptunian, you know, the father. I don't know. Some might say, oh, he was a Scorpio. We could debate that. Let's not do astrology for cartoon characters right now. But it's funny that we're talking about this because it is Pisces season and all of this is going on in the water. So appropriate, Spirit is. But Saturn is the Lord of karma, the Lord of karma and time. You know, when we talk about Saturn, we think of I have a lot of Aquarius in my chart, and he used to be the classical ruler of Aquarius, which is ironic in its own way, but it makes sense. Now, you know, more modernly, it's Uranus that rules Aquarius, but Saturn used to kind of be the gatekeeper of the sky. If you go back and you think, without technology, we're just talking about the naked eye looking in the stars, you know, and imagine not so much washing of light, you know, it was just nature. Whether you were looking from a forest or looking from an ice land or looking from a desert, you know, in the view of the sky, Saturn was really the one you could see far out with your naked eye. So he was kind of the gatekeeper. He's like this daddy energy. You know, he's kind of your boss coach, your life coach, you know, your tough boss, your father figure who means well, even though you don't always understand and you feel the harshness of the lessons that he's trying to teach you. And he's a 30-year mover. So you know what I'm saying? Saturn will be like, all right, hear me out. I know now, because I am your father energy, that it may take you 20 years to learn this lesson, but I am going to keep walking you on through it. You know, and this is the Saturnian energy. When we talk, of course, the energy of the planets, this collective archetypes of energy, and, you know, we're speaking of energy, metaphor, and such, right? So Saturn, you know, Saturn deals a lot in karma. Saturn deals a lot with time, you know, and the fact that we are incarnated beings in a 3D dimension right now. Do we only reside in this dimension? Absolutely not. You know, enter Aquarius. And we have so many ways and other ethereal bodies and so much else going on. But ultimately, Saturn, as your father would say, you know, I want to make sure that you can be sustainable throughout this life or this plan or this growth or this rebirth. I want to make sure that you can be accountable to yourself. I want to help you grow in maturity. We're thinking of responsibilities. These are the Saturnian energies as well, you know. So I was directing people when I was looking at these natal chart readings. I was saying, if you look back, think of where was I at the beginning of 2021? You know, where was I? What cycles of life were going on? And when Saturn started dancing around with Aquarius, and you know, this is different forward movements, different retrogrades. We also had these conjunctions with Uranus and Taurus, and you know, we could break it down even further, but the main focus here is the energies at play with breaking down old foundations and rebuilding from a new, stronger foundation, you know, in a way that is sustainable. And then we have this Aquarian energy as well, moving around with, you know, Saturn and Aquarius dancing with each other. Aquarius wants to come in and, of course, be the rebel. To see, Aquarian is seeing 50,000 light years ahead. You know, they are up in the cosmos, you know, sitting on their floating cloud, you know, their star, and they're seeing kind of a more panoramic view from the cosmos sometimes, and they're thinking about what is better for humanity, what is better for the evolution of the collective consciousness. You know, Aquarius wants to, as I say with Aquarius on my Jupiter finger, Aquarius wants to say, hey, I love you. I am the star. I see you in your highest evolution, in your highest timeline, and I want to help you get there. But Aquarius can have a rebellious way. Let's get out of the box. Okay, I want you to come with me. Listen, I really want you to get this more authentic picture of this version of yourself, or this timeline that you can vibrate and vibrate and vibrate up to, evolve into. I don't want to drag you kicking and screaming to it if I don't have to, but, you know, get in my spaceship, because, you know, we're going to go. And so these are the dynamics that have been in play. And as I've been working with people and doing one-on-one tarot work, doing one-on-one astrology work, you know, and just work in general, you know, I also craft tools and do custom things for people's prayer spaces, their altar and sacred spaces, oils, candles, and all the like. And so with working with people, you know, the stories that have been going on throughout 2021, throughout 2022, 2021 being a 5-year, you know, and that can be a lot of challenges. You think in the tarot, think about the 5 cards, the 5 of Swords, the 5 of Wands, the 5 of Cups, dealing with the disillusionment, dealing with don't cry over spilled milk, dealing with how you integrate the battle of your own inner demons, dealing with how you either engage in conflict, what you learn from it, what obstacles and challenges were teaching you. This is fives energy, okay? 5 of Pentacles, you know, scarcity, lack, fear-based mindset of lack. And so we really dug in and dealt with a lot of these wounds and trigger points inside. And 2021 had a way of really just saying, we are going to get all the way down in the muck. We're going to feel it all out. We're going to take it all the way down, because we're going to shift into 2022, which is going to be a 6-year. And then we are going to make new choices to open new doorways. We are going to, 6 is the Lover's card. We're going to integrate new dualities of self. We've solved a coagulate. We've torn down. We are going to purify so that we can bring back together. All this was preparatory work to lead us into the year 2023, which is a 7-year. It's the year of the Magician, manifestation, merging of timelines, your evolution of your creative power, understanding how to call all of your power back to yourself. We are getting in the Chariot. That is the Chariot card. We have now reined our black and white horses through a 5-year, through a 6-year. And we are ready to essentially kind of chase the carrot, right? You know, I keep saying to people, like, we're putting our blinders down. We've already evaluated who is or is not staying in the Chariot, because we carry in momentum. We don't want to be carrying dead weight. Once momentum starts whipping forward, you know, it's hard to stop a train. No, if you don't live in the Southeast, anyway, it's like an AC ad. It has been on for ages. It's hard to stop a train. No, but you get what I'm saying. Once the momentum gets going forward, it is very hard to stop it. And if you did, you know, imagine driving out in front of a train. That's not going to end well. So as these energies have been unfolding, you know, we've been dealing with these Saturn energies dancing with Aquarius. And I go back to the father, you know, here's Ariel in the ocean, right? And she believes in the dream, you know, and she's in love, and she wants to go out and explore and have an adventure, and she knows that there's more than just the sea. And, you know, she wants new experiences, and she believes that there's a way that the sea can go to a higher way of seeing things, of thinking, of living right. She wants to go into the sand and have all these experiences, and she knows that it's going to be better for everyone involved, even though she can't articulate necessarily how, you know. And then her father, you know, is like, you know, Ariel, no, you know, all humans are the same, and there are lessons that I've had to learn that you don't understand, and I'm trying to teach you. And, you know, it's knocking down all her baubles and treasures, and then she's emotional and she wants to run away. And, you know, here's Aquarius, and Ariel's the rebellious teenager, you know, oh, father, you know, all humans aren't the same. I'm going to show you. So me and my friend were kind of talking about this dynamic, but with Saturn and Aquarius. And, you know what's very interesting, and this is what I'm hearing, think of how Saturn in 30-year movements. And I was doing this journal work yesterday or a couple days ago. Was it the new moon? Anyway, I think it was a new moon. But Saturn is getting ready to shift into Pisces, but then will not revisit Aquarius again, right, for that whole 28 to 27, 28, whatever years time span, because it takes that long to move around through the energies of the signs of the zodiac wheel. So Saturn is in the last sign of the zodiac wheel right now. And it is a culmination of, this is the last water sign. It's a culmination of emotional experiences. But when you think about, there was something coming through, and I can't quote it. It's a very loved astrologer by me, and I follow a lot of her teachings, but she was making reference to what happened 30 years ago. I'm talking about a wound that might have been around that, or even her explaining you could even break this down into 10-year, decade increments and reflect on the life cycles that you have been in. And as Saturn gets ready to shift into Pisces, what is the culmination of the emotions there? And how can we, through the wound healing and the understanding of the trigger points and understanding the more that we can know ourselves and sit with our wounds and do our healing and do our alchemy work within ourselves, and do our rituals and return to the earth for energetic replenishment and realignment of our own energy fields. As Saturn goes into Pisces, we can really let a lot of these foundations that were built up within us emotionally over these decades, over these cycles of time, over these cycles of karma as well, right? We are very powerful divine beings walking in human form, but we also understand that Saturn is the Lord of karma. The Lord of Karma, and you can read like Vedic interpretations that really get deeply into that. Karma goes along with past life experiences. Karma goes along with what you dealt with in your inner child, in those phases of life between the ages of up to age 4, up to age 7, when a lot of your psyche, a lot of your I'm thinking of Pisces season, how like you're in the womb of the mother. When you're so young, a lot of those ancestral karma dynamics come through, and then you begin to carry those already. And then of course we could have a whole different video and conversation about past life karma. When you died in a past life, what state were you in? Did you have an overburden of shame, or were you an overburden of persecution, or were you not able to express the divinity of your magic or your creation, whatever? And then, you are back again in this lifetime in this earth school to learn a new set of cyclical lessons. And so we reflect on the ideas of karma, but especially ancestral karma, ancestral wounds, generational healing. Myself being an Aquarius, I can relate. Being the one in your family, and this is very much Aquarian working with that Saturnian energy in the last 2.5 years, almost rebelling against the ways that it was instilled in you. I'm hearing that you always had to do things. And finding a new way to do them. And again, in a lot of this one-on-one work that I've been doing with people, I'm talking about people literally coming into their own authenticity to the point of saying, I don't even believe family should look like this for me anymore. Work does not mean this to me anymore. I don't choose this reality that I have built a foundation upon anymore. And the Aquarian energy comes in, the water bearer, the hidden water sign of the zodiac, the star card. She's pouring the refreshing waters. She's not all in water. If you look at a lot of depictions, especially, OG Rider-Waite, and you could take it back to other decks, oftentimes you will see that she, much like the Temperance card, has one foot on a piece of land while part of her is also in water. So she is she's not ungrounded in the way that she is trying to show people the potential of all that could be. And all that is destined to be, of course, we're just in the baby stages of the age of Aquarius. Essentially, we've got a lot of building work to do. And the way that this happens is on the micro, right? As within, so without. As below, so above. Okay? Individual work, building. We can't call a new earth, essentially, and I'm speaking about energies and such, okay, and that fleshes out through multiple timelines, but our dimensions, I should say, but I don't want to get too abstract. We can't bring in something as big as what the age of Aquarius has in store for us. Okay, mind you, we spent how many thousands of years in the age of Pisces? Okay, the age of Aquarius, if we cannot hold it individually first. Do you know what I'm saying? Just like we can't help give voice to victimhood and help others heal and do all of these things within our own healing journey and work. We can't uphold and understand and appreciate other people's creative expression until we learn to do so for ourselves. So it is a collective building up, and as it comes together, in cycles, and as we are resilient in how we work towards that within ourselves first and then without, that is how the collective slowly begins to shift its energy, its frequency, its signature as well. So I've seen in this one-on-one work, we explore go through multiple decades of your life. Maybe you're 25, maybe you're 17, maybe you're 47, I don't know, and you're looking back through a 30-year span in different decades, and you're thinking about karmic cycles that you saw repetitive loops of, and you're chasing them back to the inner child. And then we're coming to this revelation, this gift, this realignment to hope, this realignment of faith, whatever that faith looks like to you. And we're saying, you know what? I understand through knowing myself, through tearing down old strongholds that existed within myself, within my energy, within my spirit, within my emotions. I know because of the healing work that I'm doing, because of how I return to my sacred ritual work, because of how I return to meditation, because of how I return to nature. I know now within myself that there is a more authentic way that I can express myself, and I can rebuild on those foundations. But it is important, as I'm telling people in this one-on-one work as well, as you do this work through ancestral karma, through returning to your divine inheritance, your unique lineage. This is an energetic signature, just like it is a flesh and bone signature as we're doing this work. And it reminds me of this Nine of Wands card, because I love how in the pre-Raphaelite Tarot, the Nine of Wands is about strength, resilience, continue on, work towards the 10. We are almost through the cycle of completion. But the tree stabilizes her and it holds her. She is very much supported while she does this work by her ancestors. I love that about this card. The Saturnian element is important as well. And this is something that I'm constantly relearning in my own cycles on our Earth School, right? As we evolve. And it's always in cycles, like peeling open an onion. Is that the Saturnian element is important. And it's like, don't miss this, because Saturn is supportive of this Aquarian frequency, because Saturn will remind us that in order to embody a frequency and bring it down, we will still be in a third dimension, in the 3D, right? You're not going to wake up tomorrow and meditate up out of the fact, oh my gosh, I don't even have to have a 3D body anymore. And we're not going to wake up tomorrow and all these changes in society, in food networking, in how we treat nature, in all these, we're not going to wake up tomorrow and that thing just be immediately, wow, we just meditated it down and we woke up into bliss, and just imagine that. That's not how it works. So Saturn will constantly push against the dreams of hope and faith and the humanitarian collective and the notions of these higher frequential ideas and say, but how can we make sure we're responsible with that? Well, how can we make sure that we can sustain that? Well, how can we make sure that we are also doing things that make us mindful while we bring down a lot of these things into our earth body? You know, how can we make sure that what we are doing and birthing and being and creating right now, are we thinking about the karma that comes along with that, the ancestors that will then essentially inherit the earth from us, and all of these concepts of how Saturn dances with Aquarius are super important and super necessary. You know, it's like an artist who has a creative business has to do the books. You know, you can't just be a painter and paint and daydream all day. You have to do some of the other aspects. You still have to eat. You know, a lot of people who teach high meditative, high ritualistic, high shamanic, a lot of these, as you evolve into these higher energetic workings, we'll call them spiritual ritual workings, you could call them as well. It is also important at the same time to take care of your physical body, to you know, have a routine where you are kind of getting grounded, where you are moving your body, and there is that element of you have to be accountable to certain things that are not going to just immediately change overnight. In fact, they're probably not going to immediately change even within the next decade, or even within the next go round of Saturn, you know, orbiting around the zodiac wheel again. So we have to be mindful of these things too. Do you know what I mean? We embody all of the archetypal energies of the zodiac. We also move, we're never disconnected from Gaia or the earth. We move in her grid as well. So we have to be mindful, for they can't just all be Piscean dreams. It can't just all be Aquarian future forward. You know, I see the best, and, you know, we're going in the spaceship and this is where we're going to go and it's going to be great. If you could only all see it. We can't all be Saturnian either. You know, we can't just stomp our foot and tighten our belt and say, well, this is the way that we've always done it. And we have to see how the energies dance together, how they complement and strengthen weakness. And then we reflect on that within ourselves. So these movements that have been happening, you know, we also have the Nine of Pentacles that wanted to come out of the deck. And the Nine of Pentacles is he understands determination and hard work. And again, it's like saying you could have the most influential speaker, preacher, way shower. I hate to use preacher because it has a negative connotation. We'll just say teacher, speaker, you know, even healer, even a light worker, if you resonate with that term. If they do not understand functional things like discipline, like hard work, like the earth only knows in her highest and greatest wisdom that she moves in cycles. Every season has a time to die. Everything needs to grow and to be planted in the dark. Death matter makes healthy soil. All these cycles of things. You don't eat the fruit the same day that you plant the seed. These are laws of maturity. These are laws of accountability. These are laws of responsibility that we live within this realm. You know, we have to have an understanding of those things as well. So I think as Saturn gets closer and closer to moving out of the sign of Aquarius, we really need to understand how we take responsibility for embodying this more evolved, more authentic expression of ourself. And the way that you take accountability for yourself, you take accountability for, you know, and you become mature and you become more disciplined, is that you know yourself. I think an Aquarian would tell you any day of the week it is important that you know yourself. You know? Sorry, I was just thinking. And the way to do that is to continuously understand those inner wounds, you know, to understand, I would personally tell you, understand your energetic signature in your natal chart, you know, be open to using reflective tools like tarot and astrology and these things to help you see yourself from a different seated position. You know, and Aquarius is has a way of helping us do that. Mercury right now is also in Aquarius. So we have this gift, Mercury being expression, communication, the mental space, thinking, perception of reality. We have a way to elevate how we are perceiving our own reality right now. But that Saturn energy will still ask you, how are you going to be accountable to sustain it? Right? And, on the tail end of that, I do want to say that, we are in the beautiful season of Pisces, and it feels like a big energy of taking some time to rest before we move closer to the spring equinox and closer to rebirthing the zodiac wheel. And we'll start in the energy of Aries. But Pisces season, it's very much in the mother womb. And once again, it is the last water sign on the zodiac wheel. So we are very much protected. We are very much, being in the womb, and it is okay to feel safe and to rest there. Dream space, visions, ritual, meditation, this work is so important to do right now. And I really feel like Saturn in Aquarius we can channel a lot of messages about how I see myself in a more authentic expression, how it is that I think my passions, my creative desires, my goals, we're all manifestors. We're all visualizing. We're all manifesting. We are all holding energetic frequency. It's just a matter of, what are you calling into yourself? You're doing it one way or another. But when you take responsibility, I heard someone phrase it in such a way that it was like, you need to be a conscious manifester. You need to be a conscious visualizer. You need to be and have awareness in what you are doing. What frequency, what vibration, what point of healing and alignment in my own self am I calling things into my life from? And I need to take responsibility for being more authentic in that. And so I think Saturn in Aquarius, again, until March 7, has a lot of things to show us. But it's up to you. It's up to me. It is up to us on the micro, individually, to channel those things. You can't just be super authentic in your self-expression, but have no accountability and have no grasp of the concepts of being resilient, working hard, understanding things grow in cycles, understanding things like diligence, understanding things like self-discipline, right? That'd be like just dreaming a picture of a garden and thinking you plant the seeds and then, oh, I'll just wake up and I'll keep watching the garden until the fruit comes. No, ma'am, no, sir. We have to pour our Mirakesh, our soul work, our trade, our energy, our time. We have to pour that into the soil to see that fruit, correct? So we're in a beautiful, February shifts on the wheel of the year from Imbolg, the return of the light, the mother's milk, the in the belly energy, again, beautifully aligned with Aquarius ends and then takes us to Pisces season. We're in the womb. We're in a womb place right now, and we're listening to the heartbeat, and we are connecting to the divine mother, the yin flow, the intuition, the dream space. There's been a lot of collective messages, I will say, coming out, in readings, in natal chart interpretations. When I am so blessed, I'm so full of gratitude. I get to go into these places with people and kind of handhold and way show. A lot of these messages come out dealing with people's inner wounds. And there's a lot of, again, we're talking about going back through multiple decades, possibly even back to wounds that were happening at very young childhood ages. And now we are, we're really, Pisces is doing a thing where timelines are melding, new beginnings and endings are melding, and we are ready to birth anew when we go into Ostara season, when we go into spring equinox season. So it's so important to be in the belly right now with your seed, with your seeds, to make sure as we nurture them to bear fruit that we are doing it from a place of consciousness and awareness, sustainability, accountability to self. And people love to hear certain spiritual messages, but certain ones it's hard to hear. And if it was easy, everyone would be accountable, and disciplined. And these are not always necessarily the messages we want to hear. But even artists will tell you, if I wasn't accountable to my self-growth or the work that I was so inspired to do, look, if you could have seen the first candle I made, let me just tell you right now, ooh. But if I would have given up, or the first reading I did, oh my gosh, if I would have it's work in cycles and seasons. But also we are in the womb with beautiful things right now as we come back, as we are reclaiming our higher timelines, and we are raising ourselves to a vibration, a frequency where we are a better match for those. Okay, so that beautiful work is happening. So I would encourage you to do that reflection work. Where was I at? What was I experiencing in the spring of 2021? What were the lessons that unfolded as fruit from that? What was I experiencing in the spring of 2022? What did I plant? What did I sow? What did I reap? Now I'm ripe again in the spring, and that, well, we're oncoming, we're getting closer to being in the ripeness and the fullness of spring, in the equinox, in the Ostara season on the wheel of the year. What are you getting ready to birth into being and then tend into? Because that is your choice, You are the ultimate creator of your reality. So what are you calling into your reality? And how are you going to be sustainable, accountable, responsible with that? So I think these are all beautiful things to consider. I definitely encourage so many messages of rest in the Pisces season. There are so many karmic cycles that are finally coming to a close. And you have to understand, energetically, etherically, okay, there are those entities, energy cords. There are those ripples and timelines that are dying, and they are going to attach and hold on very, like I'm hearing, vehemently. So we're going to be feeling these pulls, and we are already in the womb, and we're getting ready. So it's going to be time soon to be pushed out. So right now, have your spiritual cleansing, energetic alignment, good hygiene. Do your necessary protective gridding and all of these things. Stand firm in your energetic boundaries, but most of all, just be in the womb. I'd encourage you to rest. If you need extra sleep right now, absolutely, please do it. If you need to cast off, my favorite way of resting personally is to just, twitter off into the forest somewhere. Or meditation. I cannot stress meditation enough right now. Bath work, but things that help you rest. Okay, because our culture is going to tell you to do the opposite. There are times where you do have to grind it out. Preferably, you don't choose that as a lifestyle because it's going to kill you. But there are times for rest. And we can look to nature and Gaia and her cycles, and understand the wisdom of that is something that has never changed. And so we can abide by that as well. But I did just want to come in and spend some time chatting about Saturn and Aquarius and kind of unpacking some of these concepts that I've been talking about with people in one-on-one work. I love you guys. And, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your week. I hope that your lunar cycle is going well. We are building up to our full moon in Virgo, and I really just hope you rest. I hope you take time to sit with your candles and your gemstones, amethyst, quartz. High vibratory crystals are really good in this time. But I also, along with this, I have like this whole other side over here, which is very earthy, which is very grounding. I myself, having so much air in my chart, I kind of have to have that duality here. But I absolutely encourage you to take good care of yourself. Get in your dream space, get in your vision space, honor your divine yin, your divine feminine energy. And I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.